Hello, and welcome back to State in your 2016 general election video voters guide. Yes, I am wearing my wedding veil, and I understand how that could look, but again, we're feeling frisky, and it's got to unwrinkle sometime, and I really do feel married to democracy, and then it will be Eric. Also, a lot of the people involved in our wedding are local artisans, and we feel like we've really curated them, just as we've curated these candidate selections for you. And you're not buying any of it, so let's move on. All right, so these are the state elected officials. Quick interesting factoid: the farther west you get in the United States, the less positions are appointed by governors and the more are independently elected. Washington State in that way is kind of libertarian. The farther east you get, you'll see one governor who has the opportunity to appoint many of these statewide officials, and we were just not having any of that in our frontier spirit. So let's go. Starting with Governor Jay Inslee. Lieutenant Governor Cyrus Habib is a democracy rock star. I cannot wait to see what he'll do in that position. He is a really unique, brilliant individual, and he will make big changes happen through a position that can do a lot or do a little. He's going to make it do a lot. All right, Secretary of State, I'm going with Tina Podladowski for this one. Secretary Wyman has done a really great job, but Tina has really exciting ideas about expanding voter access that I really want to see in play. State Treasurer, 2 Republicans made it through. This is what happens in a top 2 primary. I've seen some recommendations from Democrats, don't vote for either one. I've heard the most positive things from a progressive stance, which I'm a progressive flaming liberal. If that wasn't clear, then what are we doing? Dwayne Davidson is the better choice if you definitely want to put one down. All right, moving on. State Auditor, Pat McCarthy. She is so smart and so good. And the other guy is an anti-choice, anti-LGBT person who I would just really recommend not voting for. All right, Attorney General Bob Ferguson, doing a great job. Commissioner of Public Lands, Hillary Franz. She's going to make amazing strides in our public lands. Superintendent of Public Instruction, I'm going with Erin Jones. I think she'll make amazing strides in closing the opportunity gap in the state. I know there's been concerns about her LGBTQ knowledge or impact or advocacy, and I encourage you to talk directly to her. And remember, we don't elect someone and then walk away and let them go. We elect people and we hold them accountable. All right, and Insurance Commissioner Mike Kreidler, all the way. Great guy, smart guy, holds insurance companies accountable. And that is it for our statewide elected officials. So you've got your own state legislators, representatives, and senators on your ballot. Feel free to ask me about them. And otherwise, we'll move on to some of the Supreme Court and other things in our judicial. And we're going to try to make things as fun as possible in judicial and in initiatives, because you've got to vote all the way down the ballot. This is when that rubber really hits the road for voting down ballot. These judge races are incredibly important. The way the laws get interpreted at the local level is what puts people disproportionately in jail or not. So these are the ones we really want to pay attention to. All right, see you back here in a second. Okay, so since we're doing statewide, let's also cover the state Supreme Court. Remember, these are elected positions, which is really unique given the way that they are and are not allowed to fundraise and various other things. So the rumor is that these 3 Supreme Court justices were targeted because of their stance on McCleary and continuing to hold the state legislature accountable for fully funding basic education. Remember, nothing in the basic education actually addresses the opportunity gap. We still need to fund early learning and nutrition and other programs to fight poverty for that. But, basic education is a pretty big deal. I'm sure Summer Stinson and other folks will absolutely be happy to educate you about that. So Supreme Court Justice, Position 1, Mary Yu, all the way. She's incredible. Supreme Court Justice Position 5, Barbara Madsen. She is the Chief Justice, and she should stay there. And then in Justice Position number 6, Charlie Wiggins. A, I know some of you are going to love the bow tie, but B, he is an incredible jurist and should absolutely be allowed to keep doing what he's doing. Plus, he's feisty, and it's just fun to watch. All right, so that was your state Supreme Court. Let's move on to the next one. We'll see you in a second.